Hi there, this is going to be a little tour of the latest version of Station Generator. It's not quite finished yet, but all the major features are there. I just kind of wanted to show it off. I'm Al Wyvern, the single developer of this. Well, I suppose it kind of only does take one, doesn't it? But we've got a few things going on here. So we'll have a look and let's kick it off. New logo, beta. We're out of alpha phase now. And our same old menu with lots of thanks to everybody who helped along, and I've had a lot of help and I'm very lucky for that and grateful. So this isn't quite a new feature, but I'm just going to show it off anyway because I quite like it. I actually made the demo mode for the trailer, so I'd have some smooth footage, but all it really is plays a bit of music and we get a nice pan of the station, and every station is randomly generated. It's not just one nice big graphic, it's newly generated for every pass. I think it's 100 rooms wide, which you can't actually do in the app itself at the moment. It's probably a bit unnecessary for anything to go that big. That's a barracks up there. And lots of corridors, so it's not too interesting. Here we are, the bar. I think it's probably one of the most recognizable rooms, especially from a distance. So we've got the big bar right here, and the few spots which are the tables, and another barracks. Anyway, to quit out of that, just press any button. So that's fun. So we'll just generate a station. We can see some of the new things. Hopefully it doesn't crash. It shouldn't. So this is the new one, all new pretty much. We had the new graphics in the last update, and obviously they've come along for the ride, but we've got a whole new user interface because that's been the focus of my update this time around. And as I said, I'm not finished, but this is kind of getting there, close enough to the end. This is taking a lot longer, so we still have mouse control. We can zoom in, look around, but we are bound, so we can't go too far out, but we'll always be able to see the rooms in the far corners, although there aren't any here. Improved stars, not just dots anymore, and then we have different colors, and they're kind of like pixelated ones now. So that's my first time kind of messing with that since I originally made it back in February last year, or this year, sorry, February this year. I'm not 2 years at this, thank God, but I think I'll be finished hopefully before maybe March next year. We'll see. That's not a promise, but it would be nice to be finished by then. But there's a few different updates and a bit of scope creep. Well, the whole thing is scope creep really, but I don't mind. That's fun. So let's have a look. We got a lot of familiar parts here. So it now tells us how many rooms we have available. So there's 40 rooms in this. We've got width, height, and density. I'm really proud of these graphics, by the way. Maybe a little bit unnecessarily proud, but anyway, it took me a lot of time and effort to get here. We've got all our regular buttons. We've got generator station, so nice little, and the camera zooms to give a good view of the stations there. I might have a little chat about the rooms as well, just so I can talk about them. And we also have our different shape rooms, so my personal favourite for whatever reason is the Bridget's Cross. We go to live updates, and it's a bit slow because we get the OBS running as well. And there we are, so size 15. Clicking the arrows makes it go up 1 or down 1, or you can just grab it by the handle and move it up and down, which is great. So yeah, this is kind of the one I default to. I just like it. There's different kind of wings you can go in, different landings, and we've got, of course, over here is our presets. We go for a navy look, or we can go for an engineering style, or whatever. And we still have some limitations, but they're coming away. So this is the more important part. I'll get to that now in a second. I'll just finish off in the basic version. So we have basic, standard, and advanced controls. We can save in different resolutions. So small is, each tile is 128 by 128, and then medium is by 2, large by 3, and extra large by 4, and this can result in massive textures. And there is a hardware limit of, I think it's 8,192 pixels wide and tall for any pixel, and that's a hardware limit, I believe, so I can actually go over that. So as the stations get bigger, these go down. So let's just make a big one. That's a big one. You may have noticed, actually, we've got live updating, by the way, which is a huge thing. I'll get to that a little bit later. So now we see we're down to medium, so we can only do 128 by 128 or 256 by 256 tiles, because that's within the, if we did it by 3, that would be bigger than 8192 pixels, and the computer would be able to render, and we get locked in a horrific frame rate, or infinite loop really is what I actually meant to say there, but anyway, and that saves as PNG. I've got this working a hell of a lot quicker, funnily enough, by just taking out the progress. So if I was to save this, it comes up here, rendering layers. It has a few different processes that goes on behind the scenes there, and then compiles the layers, and that doesn't take too long, and now it's saved. And our path over here is to where it's saved, so that's in my documents. 392 rooms, again it reverts to that after you save, but it's quite quick, even at the full size of 25 by 25, 100%, 625 rooms, renders a lot quicker. It used to be almost 30 seconds to save it as a PNG, and now it's in around 10, and that's the biggest. The smallest one's obviously a lot quicker. So let's move on. We've got Hide UI, just in case you want to have a little wander around the station. We might do that a little later on when I'm talking about the rooms themselves. And over here we've got Hidden Away. Is our volume. We can turn off the music, or we can quit. I'm not going to do that, not now obviously. So after that we have, oh look, this has gone back to black. I must actually, there's a little problem I found already, but so I'll fix that before we release, don't worry. Moving on, so we've got basic controls. We had this is, you see this from the last one as well. We've got basic, standard and advanced, and that's just the level of control that you want to see. Some people just want to come in, generate a quick station, save it and go out, and not worried about finessing too much. But if you want a little control, I've split it up and we've got lots of controls now. And so every room here we've listed. I used to list them as primary and secondary. This one here, not sure what's going on there, but we'll see soon enough. Oh, it's because we're in engineering. If we change this back to default, everything should be the same. There we go. So in the previous version we had primary and secondary rooms, and I kind of figured that was very much arbitrary and decided by me, and who am I to decide, you know, who wants rooms that are primary and secondary. So you now have control of all the rooms individually anyway. And in the old version, the primary rooms are done by number. You could have between 1 and 10 of any particular room, which is very limiting actually, especially when the station's got a lot bigger. And the secondary rooms are just done purely by weight, so whatever rooms were left over from the numbered rooms was distributed evenly among them depending on the weight. So if one was a weight of 2, it would have twice as many as a room type that had a weight of 1, and so on and so forth. So it's all very straightforward. Here the orange handles indicate that everything here is done by weight, and blue, as we see down here with width and cross arm size, is done by number. And this is actually something that we can change, but not in standard controls. So we need to boost it up to advanced controls so we get a lot more. There we go. So now we can choose between numbered rooms, weighted rooms, and whether or not we want them grouped together, and we can choose that individually for every room type we have here. And there's 20 room types, not including corridors and empty rooms or unoccupied rooms. We've got, so how it's working at the moment, everything is weighted in 1, that's the default, therefore it's split evenly, so that's 18 rooms when you have 392 rooms obviously. And that actually goes in quite evenly, but if we were to do, say, something a bit more uneven, you see the landing pad, there's 16 landing pads, but over here engineering there's only 15, but that's because it doesn't split evenly. We have a remainder, so the higher end ones get the extra room and the lower end one doesn't, ensuring that every room is used. Now if you wanted, you could always increase the unoccupied to take up that slack if you wanted, or we could change over to number. So now the landing pad is numbered, we see the handle is now blue, so we know just at a glance, and we can increase that. We now have 92 landing pads, and that's a landing pad all surrounding the station. So you should be always able to do that. Choose a landing pad for every edge of the station. Landing pads can only be on the edge for obvious reasons. Although I may rethink that, considering that a ship may come in from above and land down, but I think at the moment it's fair enough to just say it's at the edge. And you can do that for anyone. And every time you change something, the camera zooms back to center again. Now, I'm not sure if that's something that people will want or not, and I may change that in this update. Oh, just accidentally clicked on it. Another update is you can now manually type in the number that you want. So I could just click on the number, type in 5. There we go. Just give straight to, or if you want to click in the exact number of rooms that you want. So I want 10. It'll automatically change the number and then let you type that in. So there's kind of a lot of ways that you can get the number you want. You can type it in directly, you can move the handle up and down, you can increment it in ones to get that fine-tuned control, and it's the same then for corridors. And as you can see, we've got live updating as with every time you update the room. Yes, okay, so I find that really good. So you can see exactly what you're getting every time. It used to be that you had to generate a station to see the new rooms that you decided on, but generating station now just generates a new map. It doesn't really make a huge difference here for the likes of a British Cross style station, because it's always going to be the same shape, but the internals will change, and corridors, connections and stuff like that will always change when you generate a new station. But it's more for the random path style station, where you can just get all kinds of funky different shapes. There's too many corridors. I'll dial that back a bit. And I always find myself lowering the density right down. Kind of gives you more interesting shapes, like something like that. So that's kind of that, really. And obviously then we can group rooms. So landing pad is, no, there's more than 2 landing pads, so there's an error there. I'll have to look into that. Fun and games, but that's what I thought of it. This is in mid-development. Corridors, that's why. Anyway, we go, there we go, all around the edges. We drop the corridors down, we get more space for the landing pad. That's why it wasn't an error. It's just how the corridors and the way they share. They're the max number for the landing pads and the corridors are shared in dynamics. So if one is maxed, you will have to play around, drop the other to raise it, and then all the rest are balanced between themselves. And we just go back to default. At the moment, clicking on selecting the one you already had doesn't do it, so that's changed in the last version of Unity. So I don't know if I can re-enable that behavior. You have to switch out and switch back if you want it again, but I might do it once you change something. It just automatically comes out of the default because that's what you've done, really. The plan is down the line in future updates that you'll be able to create your own numbers and your own preset, so you can save that as a preset yourself. I haven't included the width, height or density, any of the physical controls in the presets, so they will always stay the same, so you can choose those yourself and then hit the presets. And that's kind of the main thrust of this update, more or less. Everything is now live updates, you know, knowing how much is there, being easily aware of how much of everything that you've got in there, because that might be important to your campaign, or it might not, but it's always good to have that information. Then lots of ways of seeing that information, as well as being able to edit it at the touch of a button. So I was going to show you the group room. One that's easy to show that is really when you group the landing pads, so you can just actually see that grow as you grab it there, as it just surrounds the station. The more you have. Or one that's cool is though, if you say we group the armories, you can see it's now which one is the armory? I have to find out where these are coming from now. Here we are, down here. These are armories, and you can see it's slowly taking over the whole station. Oh yeah, it's making a little blip there, but yeah, I know what that is. I'll have to do something about that. Anyway, that's taking over the whole station, but let's go back to default again. At the moment, the presets are just based on the types of room you have there, and just kind of brings those ones to the fore, and a few support ones to go along with it. Just that style, but I have a lot of ones that I'd like to add into it as well, so that list is definitely going to grow over time, and then you'll be able to add in your own ones as well. So anyway, we go back to default. So I'll talk a little bit, I guess, about each room, just so we can see them. And what's the easiest way to do that? Let's drop the station down in size. We can also do that here. Click that 10. So this on like 100 rooms, if I bring the density up to 100, so there's bound to be plenty in there to look at. So there's 5 of everything. So how do we get 1 of everything? Let's just do it that way. Here we are, 1 of everything except more. There we are, 1 of everything in this station, and 14 corridors, because why not? So we'll just hide the UI and we can have a look around. Why not just start at the top? When you zoom in, maximum zoom will always make sure the pixels are nice and square. And if you may have noticed, when I zoom in, which is a feature it's always had, the station rumble gets a bit louder. But let's turn that off because it gets quite loud. we'll drop it down to about there. So what do we have? We start off here, we've got, this is the power generation, as I would call it. So we've got like a tokamak ring here, a few servers, these are servers, and then a few bits and bobs on a seat with 3 screens, because you know it's important, there's a lot going on here, a few workstations, maybe the fuel or whatnot. You got barrels of waste and stuff like that, and then obviously the warning sign as you come in, and these ones are doored, but it's right beside the shops. You got like a little cafe. This is kind of like this could be anything. You got caches back here, could be dry cleaners if you wanted it, or it could be a weapons store, and it's more or less the same here. And this is more like supposed to be a closed door with, you've got here is a few changing rooms and stuff like that, and some shoes, runners and clothes and stuff. T-junction. This one I really like, is the rec room. So we've got like a whole bunch of arcade machines up here. We've got these 3 pool tables, which are tournament regulation size, only, you know, scaled down a little bit, but they are the regulation size. We have another arcade machine here, a little bar going on, then maybe some sofas and a table, and over here we've got tournament size, what do you call them, air hockey tables. So yeah, I looked that up, interesting stuff there. And of course beside the rec room is the ops room. Got the big screen for everybody to look at, and they got lots of workstations and like a map, kind of a 3D map thing. And then the meeting room, you got a server in there working all the stuff, a few workstations and so on. And around here, this is a briefing room, so it's kind of like an airlock style entry here, and big screen with a server on it, and they put basically a bunch of chairs there so that people can watch the briefing mission. So we got down here. This is obviously, if you were to guess, you'd probably guess it was the med bay, and you would be correct. And I wanted to be obvious from far away, so we've got the big plus corridor right in the middle, and we've got like our little ward here, a little scanning machine here, so it could be like a CT or whatever you want it to be really, and then a little room to control it. In here we have isolation wards, a bit of storage, and in here we've got the theatre. I think of these as 3D printers, because that's how I originally designed them in the R&D room, which will be coming along in a bit, I suppose. Cargo space. Every space station needs a bit of cargo space, isn't that right? So we've just got some junk in here. It could be anything you want it to be, really. Empty room, because they could be building something in here. Now, what else have we got? This is the barracks, so 4 barracks, exactly the same. Seats 6, 2 toilets and 2 showers. That kind of technically is, but it's kind of hard to put details in when something is only 128 by 128 with that kind of scale, so it's more the idea of it than anything. We've got a little weapons locker here to work with as well. Moving over here, this is hydroponics, where they grow their food, so lots of, like, a couple of tables here with gear to look after it, and we got a couple of nurseries. So it could probably probably needs a little bit of work. So this is the seating area, the first one. They've grown a bit, and when they're sturdy enough, they go out here, where people can enjoy them when they walk through the corridors, and you know, that can then be presumably eaten at some stage. And then we have a little kind of capped-in water area with lilies and stuff, so that could be growing some rice paddies or something. Fresh rice in space. Gotta eat. Lecture hall, because they're important. Gotta learn in space as well. So just green room, blue room, job done. Desk, workstation, screen, learn. This is the mess hall, so we've got like a little kitchen area back here, and then like pick up and drop off for your trays, kitchen area, and then obviously places to sit and eat your food, and a few chairs around the outside. That's actually the bottom of a star. Just fit in perfectly within the pixel there. So this is the armory. I'm quite proud of this for whatever reason. Basically, this is the entrance and how you get into the armory. So extra thick doors and panels and a screen to scan you or whatever when you're going in, so that you know who's who. And then for the area where you come in to pick up your guns, so you come in here and there's a line to stand at, an area to stand at, and you can come in, get your weapon, requisition your gun or whatever. This is all the weaponry here, or the weapons will be in here in these boxes and these crates. There's a little workstation here and a 3D printer for parts, and this is all your boxes of ammo and so on. Over here on the left we have just a small shooting range for testing the weapons, so near, medium, far, insofar as you can have it. And of course down here, extremely important, is the tea room, because everybody's got to have a break, right? And here we go here, engineering. This is what an engineering area looks like. Big pipes, open up engines with servers plugged in for testing, loads of workstations, a couple of small 3D printers, giant ass 3D printer, bunch of servers powering everything, and little 3D printer for more parts, just another little private workstation, and then obviously little warning areas here for testing and stuff. We've got, what have we got over here? This is the server room, one man show, 3 screens, ton of servers. What is it, 18 servers? And this is going to be, consider this to be kind of a cool room, so that's why we've got blue warning stripes here, and then like coffee, because if you're working on servers all day, you're going to need your coffee. And the bar, as I said earlier, is probably the most distinct from far away. It's got that big circle. We've got the inside is just like all the glass cases for beer and wine and vodka and whatever space stuff you want to drink. Gargle Blaster, isn't that what it was called? 2 dance areas and a couple of tables with big screens for the match or whatever. So this is the living quarters, so for individual people, 2 people per area. You got your shower, your bathroom, double bed, wardrobes, and your couch and your TV. So it's not super lush, but you know, it's better than living in a barracks, right? So possibly more of that sort of thing coming soon, more lush. This is R&D, quite like it. Area, danger area when you're coming in, so you know what's going on. Couple of workstations, giant ass 3D printers, some photocopiers, servers are always important. And you got a meeting room to discuss ideas and stuff. Probably one of the more important parts, this is your landing pad. So take off, land, never has any walls, only the walls that other rooms give it, so that you can actually access it from a space station, from a spaceship rather, because this is obviously meant to go into my game eventually for Quantum Wing. This is how this all began, but maybe talk about that another day. Quite like these corridors. They used to be just thick grey walls. Found it quite boring, but these little scaffolds just give it kind of a little bit of personality. I like it. It's my game, so yay. And stars fade as they die. Isn't that nice? I think that's a nice touch. And here we have life support. So we've got like water reclamation and air recycling, more or less. I didn't really go into too huge detail because again, 128 by 128, there's only so much you can do, but I quite like how it ended up looking. And here we have the last room, I guess. This is the brig. This is where you get thrown in if you start causing trouble. So big warning sign all the way around the edges, and then you enter down here, so there's a long walk into here. So this is the general area, you know, so we got a little basketball court because why not, space basketball. Another scanning area for, who knows, see if there's any weapons or shivs or whatnot. Small office area, shared bathroom, 3 bathrooms, 2 sinks, shower, and this is kind of the group room where you throw people in if they don't need to be isolated. And you got long-term rooms here and isolation here, and that's kind of it. That's all the rooms gone through, I guess, and I've probably been talking for almost 23 minutes. So I'm going to end at that. So show UI, and let's have the quit button work.